Welcome back, everybody. So glad you could be with me here today. Walter, at the workbench, with a question. Why 25 degrees? So, this has been on my mind ever since I watched a video. Yes, I do watch videos about someone taking a bevel up plane and putting a back bevel on it. That didn't make any sense to me because the effective cutting edge is established at the top with the bevel. So let's assume, and I know it's not good to assume, but let's assume this plane blade is from a bevel up plane. We have 25 degrees on here, and whatever the bed angle is will determine the effective cutting angle on the top edge. And I say the top of the edge, not the bottom of the edge. So, moving away from bevel up planes, we'll go to bevel down planes, just like my handmade wooden plane. 45-degree bed angle. Okay? Your plane blade comes in, and the cutting edge touches your wood surface, and there is 15 degrees, 25, 35, no, 20 degrees, 25, 35, 45, 20 degrees of clearance behind that front cutting edge. Now, why 25 degrees? Well, there are those of us that will come in after the 25-degree primary and will put on a secondary bevel for the first honing. And that secondary bevel can be as different as 27 degrees, it could be 28 degrees, it could be 30 degrees. So now, if you're at 30 degrees, you only have 15 degrees of clearance behind the cutting edge. That's plenty. So what if you were to go to 35 degrees? You'd still have 10 degrees of clearance behind the cutting edge. Could you go to 40 degrees and still have 5 degrees of clearance behind the cutting edge? Now, I know on my wooden plane, it wouldn't matter because there's nothing to obstruct the bevel. Possibly, and I have not dissected a iron body plane, but perhaps that 25 degrees was established because, for the most part, most woods are softer woods. Even tulip poplar, basswood, cottonwood, aspen, your pines, your firs, they're pretty much easy to work woods, and you can use a sharper cutting edge. But if you're working in harder woods, if you're into cranky woods, if you increase the primary bevel, what you'll be doing is increasing the thickness of the metal behind the cutting edge. You're not changing the cutting edge. You're adding supporting metal behind the cutting edge. Are you following me? So, if you do a lot of work in white oak, in hickory, in desert ironwood, or mesquite, or any wood that is just tough on a thinner cutting edge, that will give you more support. And I guess the easiest way to explain it is if you look at your kitchen knives, and if you have a really thin kitchen knife, that will slice through softer items easier. But if you hit bone, or if you hit a hard cutting board surface, that knife edge is done for. So we increase, and this is an exaggeration, but we go from a very, very fine cutting edge to an increased cutting edge to add durability. So that's what I think that fellow was doing with the bevel up plane. By putting a back bevel on it, he was adding durability without affecting clearance. So I just thought this was going through the old cranium up here, and I thought I'd share that with you before I get into the next plane review. And let me know what you think. I know it works the same on chisels. We've talked about that. The higher the primary angle on the chisels, when you hone it, you increase the durability of that cutting edge so it doesn't just roll over on itself. So thanks for stopping by. I hope you're having a good day. Weather's getting cooler here. Pretty soon, it's going to be only sweatshirt weather. And then out come the hoodies and the jackets and the winter sweaters and all of that joyful stuff. If you found this video useful, helpful, maybe entertaining, like, subscribe, and share. Head out to your workshop. Think about it. Do you need your cutting edge to be more durable? Walter out.